I am absolutely in love with Marina Mist. Don't know why, but I've got it as a Stampin' Up! Marker. I've got it as ink pad. I've got it as a spot. I've got the paper, and I've got the 1/8 inch ribbon. I have chocolate chip, ink and marker, and I have a white base card. So just to explain how this is cut, I'm going to use this to create a slight border on the side of my card, and it's going to add about a 1/2 inch to the width. And so I cut that 1/2 inch. Oh, again, I cut it the long way at 4 1/4. I scored it at 5 1/2. So I have two cards bases that are tall. Then I took one of them for this card today, and I opened it up, put it back on the cutter, and cut an extra 1/2 inch off the long way. Again, this is so I can add a little bit of Marina Mist to the side, and the card will still fit into a medium-sized envelope. Now, as far as the stamp set today, I'm going to use the Fast and Fabulous stamp set. I know I paid nothing for this stamp set, so I definitely want to use it. I'm going to use two images from here. I'm going to use this outline image, and since this is a two-tone stamping kind of a stamp, you stamp twice with it. It also has like a filler in for shading image, so I'm going to use both of those. And what I did in advance is I mounted them on an eye block. So I used the eye size block and actually mounted both of them on the block. Okay, so let's get our stamping done first. And so I'm going to turn the card around so I can see it. Okay, so I'm going to take the outline stamp, and you might notice that I mounted this on a slant. And the slant I'm looking for is so that when I stamp this down, the stamp is going to be kind of pointing towards the sentiment that I'm going to put on the right side of it. So after I get that all inked up, you can see through it, and that's beautiful. So, I mean, some of you may want to leave it like that. You're very happy with that very clean and simple outline. But I'm going to go ahead and take this another step further and do a little bit of stamping inside. So I'm actually going to just remove that image, and I'll be left with this image here. And so I'm actually going to use the Stamp-A-Majig to help me so that you can see this. But you definitely could eyeball this without an issue, so that it looks more like a shadow. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my Marina Mist spot, and I'm going to ink up that piece. Now, Marina Mist can actually be quite dark. So before I stamp, I'm going to take a piece of scrap, and I'm going to stamp off. So you might not see this. Let me put it right here so you can see. I'm going to stamp off. And now I'm going to get a very light image. So I'm going to remove my plastic of my Stamp-A-Majig, and I'm going to stamp down. And then pull back up. And you'll see I get a very light impression. And that's what I wanted. I wanted kind of like a shadowy effect here. And let me turn it around so you can see. So you end up with the image is stamped fairly low once in the chocolate chip, and then you stamp over it with the Marina Mist. And now I'm going to put a little edge on this. So I'm going to use my scallop punch. And the reason why I have this paper longer than my card is so that I can choose where I cut my scallop bumps. You know, sometimes I find if I make it the exact length, I end up with two edges that I don't like. So I'll always punch out from a longer piece of paper than my destination base card. So just get rid of all those scraps. And if you look, I can tell exactly how to put this off. So I can see right there that I can cut right here at the end of that bump, and I can cut right here at the top of that one. And so it's really easy for me to see how to get those scallops looking nice when I cut on a very long piece of paper. So I'll cut that. This is it right here. Cut that off. And so this is going right here along the side. Okay? I'm going to punch my holes first. So I'm going to take my crocodile and I'm going to look for my smaller circle. Okay. I'm going to make sure that this piece is pushed back as far as possible on that smaller circle. And then I'm going to go into my card, and what I want to do is I want to punch a hole on either side of the stem. So fairly close to the stem. You can see what I'm doing here. Alright, so I have 2 holes now on either side of the stem. Now I'm going to take a piece of ribbon and I'm going to measure it at 4 inches. Again, I'm going to use my grid to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 4 inches is too long, but it's what I need in order to get this done. Everybody's different. So I have these 2 embellishments that I'm going to put on, but before I put them on, because they're going to add bulk, I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping. So I've chosen the Thanks for Blessing My Life with You stamp, and this came from the Herb Expressions set. And I'm going to actually highlight the thanks with Marina Mist, and the rest is going to be in chocolate chip. And I love using my markers for that reason. So I can actually color the word thanks with Marina Mist, because I can see that really easy on my stamp. And I'm going to color the rest with a chocolate chip. And then I'm going to huff on this, just breathing on the stamp. And I want to put this greeting right here in this little crux right here. So like the kind of the and I'm just going to stamp that down. You can see the effect I get. The thanks being in the Marina Mist and the chocolate chip matching the main image. So you get this really nice two-tone effect. Now I'm going to take my 4 inches of ribbon and I'm going to make sure the ends of it are pointy. And then I'm going to push one end through one side or one hole, and I'll push the other end through the other hole. And so as you can see, I'm going down from the front so that when I get done it looks like that. Then I'm going to turn the card over, take the end that came down one side and bring it back up through the opposite side. Do the same thing with the other piece of ribbon. This is the easiest way to me to add a ribbon embellishment. And so once I do that, and I know you're saying to yourself, she's wasting a lot of ribbon. So you could use a 3-inch ribbon if you want to. I need the extra ribbon, and like I've said to you before, stamping up ribbon is really inexpensive. I don't really have to be too economical with it. So it kind of looks like there's a bow around this stem. And when you're looking at this card, you know, standing up, it looks just like it's tied around the stem. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do is add this, well, not the last thing, the second to last thing I'm going to do is add this border on this side. So I'm going to use some snail, but you could use, so when you're embossing, I really recommend using the tacky tape, the two-sided tape, but I can use snail on this surface. And so what I'm going to do is just turn it over. And again, remember I cut off a 1/2 inch, so I can actually use up a whole 1/2 inch here on the side, and it's not a problem. And again, I'm taking advantage of my grid to help me line this up. And I turn that over, and that's it.